Hey everybody, it's Bust, Battles with Bust number 574, and today we're doing battle with Lulu Jinx. And so these Bandle City Jinx decks have been quite popular over the course of the past year, the past 18 months or so, but it's very interesting to me how a deck that has, 30, 35 card similarity to a different deck can play so wildly differently. And so the initial versions of Lulu Jinx weren't aggro decks, they were more combo-oriented Poros decks in the sense that they would be trying to get daring Poros onto the board and then boost all of those Poros with either a Sneaky Biggle Dust or with a Yordles in Arms. And so while it did have the Lulu Flame Chompers combo within it, it was much more of a elusives deck than it was some kind of challenger control-y kind of thing. Then moving into the previous season, we did see a lot of a lot more Jinx-based Bandle City decks, to where you would say maybe Jinx Kennen, as to where you were trying to get card advantage out of the discard strategies. But at the end of the day, it was like a go-wide aggro deck that had a bunch of burn in it. And so you would try and play, 3 1-drops on the first 2 turns of the game, maybe discard a Flame Chompers to hook a blocker out of the way. Then you would do a last flurry of attacking and then finish off the game with burn. That's nowhere near how the Daring Poros style of deck was working. And so now, as we move to this Lulu Jinx deck that we have before you, it does have a lot of those same cards, right? You're seeing the Jinx and the Yordle Squires, the Boom Baboons, the little Mecha Yordle package, a big bunch of burn, but this deck doesn't really play anything like the decks before it. What really strikes me as strong with this style of deck is what I like to describe as what happens when things go right, how good is the deck when things are good, and how good is the deck when things are bad. And so what we mean by this is if you would look at some of these Lulu Jinx decks in the days of old, if you would have these draws that had the Flame Chompers in it but nothing to discard, then you just kind of lost. If you drew Lulu but none of the supporting cast, you just lost. But if you had it all come together to where you discarded a Flame Chompers to a Poro Cannon and then got a big hook in with Lulu, then you tended to win. And so what I think this Wings Giving version of the deck here brings to the table today is it really smooths out a lot of those draws for when things go wrong. And so what I really like about this and what I think is really powerful about it is 2 separate things. Number one is the idea of open attacking, right? Open attacking is one of the kind of core strategies within the game of Legends of Runeterra. Do I want to take my attack token and immediately attack my opponent before they're able to get a bigger unit on board, or do I play a unit of my own, giving the opponent the chance to play something bigger than what we already have on board, right? And what typically happens with these really unit-centric based decks is it really sucks when you have to open attack and then just follow up with a unit, right? And so if you're wanting to say, think of a Freljord Snow Dog deck like we see here in recent times, to where you play an Omen Hawk on 1, you play a dog on 2, maybe you play another dog on 3, play a 1-mana combat trick and then a 4-drop on 4, and then on turn 5, if you don't open attack, say you want to play a Glacial Saurion on 5, then your opponent gets to play a big 5-drop or something. Maybe they play Morgana, shut down your Saurion, and then just shut down the remainder of your attack because Morgana is bigger than all of your other units, right? That's a very bad spot to be in. So you tend to just start your turn by attacking and then following up with that Saurion, which feels kind of shitty. And so where we're going with all of this, and what I really like about what this deck offers, is that came up very frequently with Lulu, right? You would have the odd attack token, turn 3 would come down, you would drop Lulu, you wouldn't have a Flame Chompers, and then you just trade Lulu with your opposing unit, and that kind of sucks. And so what the Wings Giving lets us do is still kind of recoup some of that advantage, right? So if we play a 1-drop and then to a 2-drop, we open attack on turn 3 and then follow up with the Wings Giving, it doesn't feel like we're really missing out on as much, because the Wings Giving wouldn't have given us that big of an advantage before the attack anyways, and it gets that time to kind of ramp up and build itself up. And so I do like that aspect of the Wings Giving within this style of deck, is it really promotes draws to where your open attacks are strong and they don't lose out on anything for the turn. The other kind of thing to call out with this is in the space of those draws to where things just don't quite come together, right? You play your Otterpuss on 1, you play your Boom Baboon on turn 2, and then on turn 3, you just don't have anything to discard, right? And so that doesn't feel very good. Or if you have the draw to where you have a Lulu but nothing else, like these draws that just don't come together quite as how you want. Getting this, 3-drop redundancy with the Wings Giving tends to feel pretty good to me, as to where we only had 3 draws in the past at a very good turn 3 play. Now we have 6 draws at a very good turn 3 play. And so I think that all works out quite nicely to the way that this deck is going. And so to me, the big realization with this is it is okay to just put down a Flame Chompers for free and upgrade it, right? Upgrade it with the Wings Giving, a curve of putting down an Otterpuss on turn 1, a Boom Baboon on turn 2, and then Electro Harpooning down a Flame Chompers, and then following up the Wings Giving. Something like that is extremely, extremely powerful. And once you kind of get it in your head that you don't have to just be upgrading big units for the Wings Giving to be good, putting a 2-drop on the board for free, and then upgrading that 2-drop into a 3, into a 4, into a 6 is a fantastic line, and it works out incredibly well. And so that's what I kind of wanted to drive home with this deck, is it gets a lot of opportunities to take advantage of the Flame Chompers, be it being just a free card, being it coming down with the Wings Giving, having it come down with Lulu. Maybe it gets a plus attack from a Yordle Squire, kills off an Omen Hawk, then blocks something later. Like, there's a lot of just big, gigantic value plays that can come out of these Flame Chompers, and that's the kind of big takeaway from this deck compared to the Jinx decks of old. And so, that is it. That's what we're doing battle with today. Let's jump in and see if we can't get a good game or two. No Elder Dragon today. This feels weird. It feels weird playing decks without the Elder Dragon in it. Now, I guess I have played the Wings Giving in every deck for like the past 7 videos or so, but it's just the world we live in, huh? It's just the world we live in. You didn't know how good you had it until things were gone, as far as the rotations were going. All right, up against another Lulu Jinx bro. Let's see how this goes. And so I think that this is a hand we're kind of stuck keeping. I'm not a super huge fan of this style of hand, but it doesn't have any Flame Chompers in it, and so I really want to be able to pick one up. But Jinx is so incredibly powerful in these matchups that I don't think I'm willing to discard her, and then we do still have a decent curve. And so I tend to see these other Lulu Jinx decks, and they tend to really stick to that kind of go wide strategy, to where they have between like 8 and 12 1-drops, and they're playing the like Spirit Your Team kind of cards. And that's not where we're taking it here, but that's what I expect the opponent to be out here playing. See if we can get that deck tracker up real quick. And I would say that's definitely what we're going to be seeing here, with the opponent dropping a Inventive Chemist on turn 1. And so I'm just going to take this with the mindset that we're the control deck, and we're going to try and prevent every single point of damage that we can. Ideally, we'll be able to out-mana the opponent if we pick up a Wings Giving or something along the way. And so I'm not going to be offering up trades, and then I'm just going to try and prevent all the damage we can coming in from the opponent. And so here, it's kind of an interesting spot. I would like to get the Jinx up as quickly as we can. We don't have that much discard in our deck, though, and so the big value play here would be Professor Von Mech, but he worries me in how much he's going to be able to spend all of this mana. But I think he might give us an opportunity here. The other interesting thing with Professor Von Mech is he is a very good target for like the Wings Giving. Just dropping this really shitty 4-cost unit and upgrading him into something bigger does feel pretty good. Alright, so who's our 3 going to be? We can just get the Lulu down. I gotta remember that this Gloom Sprites doesn't grow. Right? He grows with impact, he doesn't grow with stats, and so we might be able to bring him down here in an upcoming turn. But here, I think we're just going to go unit. Like, the question to me is, do we want to... Maybe we do just get the Professor Von Mech on board. We have a lot of discard stuff in our hand. It's just the thing that sucks with him is he doesn't trade with anything here. It's like we're kind of counting on the Lulu to grow the Professor Von Mech. Yeah, this is fine. And so he's not, picking up strong combats. Probably just have to shoot for the trade here, though, since he does have the Flame Chompers on board. If he really wants to, he could just open attack next turn and hook our Von Mech out of combat. So I'll go ahead and attack now and try and just get that unit away. To pick up some interesting stuff, though, in hand, we've got the Innovative Blacksmith to potentially give us a little bit of heal. So maybe we can do something with him. Ooh, we're just never blocking this turn, though. So I'm just going to go ahead and Electro Harpoon away the Gloom Sprites. What do we want to get rid of? Leaning towards... Lulu is the most expensive one that doesn't really do anything. I think it's probably time for her to go. Like, I'm not really amped about the Dragon Guard Lieutenant because he just trades with all the opposing 1-drops, but he is at least cheaper. So that does carry a bit of weight for him. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get the Innovative Blacksmith down. I'm just going to go with the Combat Reel. Mana is where we're kind of choked at this point, and so we don't have any Boom Baboons to, or Flame Chompers to come down and take advantage of the equipment as we immediately draw a Boom Baboon. But I don't want to go about this. I was immediately just like, well, we'll just drop the Flame Promoter to get the Arena Promoter to get the additional units on board, but we can't get 3 units with these Poros. I think this is okay going big. I'm just going to go cheap. The Mecha Forcer's the cheap one here. Has a bit of potential to be strong as well with the Flame Chompers. Alright, let's go ahead and send. He's never blocking with Jinx. Jinx is just too powerful in this space. This block does not surprise me, but if he does want to, say, put the value block of putting a Sump Dredger in front of the 2-1, then we can still potentially take him down with a Pie Toss here in the future. Curious how close the opponent is to emptying out their hand here. One of the interesting things we have access to is we do have double Jinx, and so we can potentially just put Jinx on board and then use the Get Excited to try and take the opposing Jinx off of the board, which I'm pretty on board with. I'm just going to go ahead and block with the Boom Baboon. It dies to the Super Mega Death Rockets, and so we'll just get rid of these 1 health units before he's able to drop the big cards. See if he's got a slow speed in hand. Damn. I was hoping to get out of that without the Death Rocket coming to hand. A bit of a bummer, but at least we are going to remove his Jinx, and then we have like 1,000,000 cards in hand, and so we do have a little bit of opportunity to draw ourselves out of this. Right, he's gonna drop us to 8 with Jinx, but he doesn't have any cards to where we're gonna lose the Innovative Blacksmith, and then still have 3.5, 4 cards in hand. So it doesn't seem horrible, right? It doesn't seem bad. We should have, 2 good hooks on the next turn as well, given that we can play the Mecha Forcer and play the Combat Reel, boost up these Flame Chompers. I dig it. Some Poros on board like the days of old. That's what you like to see, right? That's what you like to see. So what do you think of the percentage chances are the opponent goes, LOL, watch this, it's Jinx. I just immediately redrew my Jinx, LOL. What do you think are the chances? Oh, we don't have to see it? Okay. Okay. It's got to be like a burn spell in hand, right? If it was a unit, he probably would have played it after combat. I guess he's not really in mana trouble at that point, and so it's not crazy to think that he's just holding cards until the next turn. maybe he picks up a rummage or something, but good stuff. Good stuff. Right. Don't know how good you got it till it's gone. That's sad, man. Like, I talked quite a bit over the course of the history of the channel about playing Hearthstone when it was on the 3-month rotation. Like, back in my heyday of Hearthstone, they used to be on a 3-month cycle to where a new set came out every 3 months, but the ladder reset every month. And so what always happened was you would play, you know, the first month very intently. Like, that's when everything was exciting, the new cards were out, and you were having a good time. What was this? Caitlyn Teemo? Like, this is tough. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and tell you this hand should be a full mulligan. We should be sending this hand away to try and find an answer to Teemo. But I kind of want to showcase this just a little bit, what we can do with putting the free flame chompers down on turn 2 and then starting to upgrade it on 3. And so just to be clear, this hand is a full mulligan. The only thing we care about is killing Teemo on the first turn of the game, and we don't have a hand that's capable of doing that. But again, I want to show just a little bit of this, the idea of what we're able to do with this deck, and you know how decent it can be, getting these flame chompers down on turn 2 and then immediately upgrading them. But no, it was very, like, a very fun first month as far as Hearthstone goes. And then, you know, you would go into the next month and you would be like, okay, well, I'll grind this for a week or two, but I'm not having the best time in the world anymore. And then, like, there would typically be a very minor balance patch before the 3rd month. And then in the 3rd month, it was like I would just play the first week to hit Legend and then quit. And that's the kind of rough spot that I think we'll end up seeing with Runeterra, and why I have no desire to really keep grinding it out, is that the meta just gets so stale so fast, and there's not even a reason to come in and try and, like, grind a Legend. And so, or what are we playing? What game is this? Try to grind to Masters, and so it's a tough space to be. But this is interesting, right? I was thinking I'm just going to Wings giving off on the Flame Chompers, but now that we've interesting, a Sharp Sight unit as well. But now that we've hit Lulu, I'm looking to pivot just a little bit. So I'm gonna pick up this Sharp Sight unit. I probably just want to hang on to it. We'll have to see what happens with Lulu, I guess.
Yup, that tastes purple. Let's use all the colors. I'm ready. Yeah, an even bigger weapon.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Manners?
Sure.
Let's talk this out.
Now, one thing to note, the tiny spears do grant the ability, so if we want to come in and upgrade the Yordle Squire, it's going to keep that +1 attack. Let's see how it goes. Double combat trick out of the opponent's kind of annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Probably do want to come in and just start protecting this Squire. Like, as the opponent started to load us up with flashbang traps, I don't really want our units to just be dying. Snatch up Tyari. Excuse me. I could see that support being important.
Think I'm still like a Yordle in uniform.
Hang on, we need to upgrade out the gates. So let's focus speed upgrade, pick up a 4-cost unit. Maybe it will be a good combatant. Not. It's not. This is a very understated collection of 4-drops, right? These are all stat lines you would expect to see on a 3-drop, even a 2-drop for the Tritail and the Captive Greyback. This was a big miss. Now we do have another Wings Giving in hand, so we can probably have to keep the Great Warden around to just try and grow. But that was a real bummer of an outcome. I was really hoping to hit at least something that could block Caitlyn. we'll see how it goes. I don't have high expectations for the Shadow Tech Walker, but it's like as he makes this attack, it's very clear that a shenanigan is afoot. Surprised he didn't attack with the Sting Officer, though. It seems like one of his more powerful options there. Like if you're looking to Sky Split, then you still get the good Sky Split blocking the unit that's already on board.
Oh, if mushrooms could talk. Or once in
Alright,
my
let's
life.
at least upgrade this unit before things get out of hand. I always see this Dragon Collar turn up, and then I realize how hard it is to hit flow. But the Wave Rider should be fine.
Here I am! Wherever here is.
I've always been a fun guy.
Okay.
Peacemaker protocol.
So close.
It's not the worst block with the Sting Officer. It's like, what are you ever going to do with it? Close is this Caitlyn to flipping? Oh, he's only activated traps once? Seems like he should be a lot closer than he is. He's trying to get scary, though.
Runaway bike.
Nosy dewdrop.
We just have to not die at this point. If we get the chance to kind of grind this game out, we've picked up a Jinx. We have a lot of opportunities to... Oh, that was savage. I'm going to say we have a lot of opportunities to grow here with the Arena Promoter. We can get the Caitlyn off of the board. So we still have a chance in this if we can drag the game out, but that was fairly rough. That was fairly rough. Okay, so I'm going to take the Shadow Tech Walker. We just need the cheapest option here. Next turn, we're going to look to get Jinx on board, Electro Harpoon into Caitlyn, and then start casting Death Rockets. And so we wanted to make sure we could get units on board that we can clear out our hand with. Dune Swallower, always an interesting option here. I've had some good times hitting Dune Swallowers as well, but probably just want the, well, it should be safe. It's like I was looking at this board, and it's like he can just block everything, but I probably feel a little bit safer not having just a 5/5. Like all of our hopes and dreams tied into the success of a 5/5, and so don't really want that. Big buff cap hit. Caitlyn's gonna flip, but we have the 3 damage to take her off board. We do all of this. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 off of the Death Rocket. Okay. I'm in.
Looking for a hero for my hero.
Might as well take the unit, right? We should be relatively safe in the face of this Caitlyn. Like, he's played 1 Elixir of Iron and 2 Sky Splitters. Like, it should be... I mean, it's not a guarantee to get her taken off the board here, but it's not like we're running fresh into this unit to where he has the entirety of his deck. He's played a lot of his combat tricks up to this point. Alright, there she goes. Caitlyn number 2. Does she keep that visibility? She's going to strike for 3. Okay. I guess the question is, can we do we ever win the game next turn if we don't win this turn, right? Can we survive the next round? We're only at like a damage a turn on the puff caps. I think that's okay. Let's upgrade our small unit here and see if we can't find something strong. Wasn't spectacular.
Turning yourself in.
Oh no, is this another harsh winds? Flash freeze. Opponent was proud of that. Good job. That was worthy of an emote. Alright. let's see how good the draws go.
Scoping the area.
Okay, glad to get out of it that turn. The interesting thing there is it just gives us a little bit more reach in terms of not dying to the puff caps, right? So say he takes the attack there, hits with Caitlyn. It was only for 1, but that takes us to 1. Then we just die to a whole lot more stuff there. And so kind of glad to see that go. Didn't pick up a big winning card here like we needed. What's Caitlyn's still at that 1. Not going to be able to get the width to finish this game off. Hit 3, 4. Well, I guess it's close enough. It's the full board, right? It's a little bit short on the damage.
Manners?
Would a mushroom help?
Maybe it's not a little short on the damage. He's got to have a spell in hand. There's zero reason to not play a unit there. Harsh winds, sure thing. So let's just keep squeezing them cheeks, you know? That's all you can do, am I right? Just give it a nice cheek squeeze.
Now we wait.
Dude's very proud of that. Good job. I hope Panta Ray cracks up the video and he says, "Oh man, I'm up against world famous Bust. I gotta see if I'm on the video." And he gets to see our opener to where we go, this is absolutely not a keep. You should 100% mulligan away this hand completely. And we just don't do it so that we can show off a Wings Giving. And then he almost loses the game. And so, so that's a strategy I like to showcase there. All right, the game broke. We got to get a restart. There we go. So yeah, you say, here's the strategy. You gotta have an answer to the turn 1 Teemo. But we're not going to do that so we can show off the Wings Giving, and then the opponent has the turn 1 Teemo and they barely win the game. So that's the way I like to see it. That's the way I like to go. I got an emote taking the shot at the king. What's the line from The Wire? Take your shot at the king, you best not miss. came real fucking close to missing. All right, next battle, though, up against Samira Nilah. Very interested to see what this looks like. And so, you know, reasonable enough start. Not super strong, but I think it's okay. Like, I'm trying to envision the units that the opponent's going to play in the early game. Like, Nilah is ignorable, right? We're just never going to deal with Nilah anyways. But the rest of the stuff I don't think I super care about with hands like this, so it's kind of off to the races. Now, we did get a very strong pickup in the Squeaker, letting us get the Flame Chompers down for free, and then start to follow up with the Wings Giving. This is what I'm... the different kind of draw that I'm really out here trying to showcase and focus on is to where, you know, just dropping the Wings Giving and upgrading these 2s into 3s is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And so I think once you get in your head that it's okay for this to be one of your angles, then it's definitely much better. Oh fam, I don't think that was advisable. I don't think that was advisable. All right, block. Oh, hang on. Oh, shit. We did do that wrong, didn't we? Shit. I was like, oh, we're gonna zing him so good. He let us get through here, and I picked the wrong equipment, so we couldn't block both units. Whoops. A little bit of whoops.
Got this from a side quest.
I had it in my head as like, man, this is going to go so well. Like we can't fail because our the Father Fury, the hard punishes. Yeah, this is I want a redo on this entire game. We got Jal Hunters turns up if we want. It's like we either, I think we just go with the Brash unit. And then we can continue to upgrade the Cartographer from 3 to 4. But yeah, seeing this sequence out, it's tough. Like I want to feel like I'm kind of back at my strength after taking a 2-month break, but it's not the case.
I can talk tech, but
Fuck is this thing?
sales.
5/4 Challenger that activates blunders. Okay. I guess we got to go Balin. This has a lot of potential for disaster. You have to go Professor Von Mech here, just to have stuff to do. I know that like some of these cards in his hand are just 1-cost cards. He doesn't have nearly as many cards as it looks like. 2 of these are things that have just been generated by Father Fury. One of them is the Stylish Shot, so it's not super scary. Maybe we can get away with a Dunehopper mech, but I'm just gonna go for the units. Okay, that's manageable. I was more worried about, like, you know, Make It Rain or something coming in.
Weapons. We got weapons.
We're at 13. Okay. So now the Chompers turns up. So the idea, I guess, with this turn would be we can't do Lulu, Von Mech, and the Electro Harpoon, and so it's like we have to. I guess Lulu first.
Nothing a good giggle can't fix.
I'm gonna wait till the very end to activate the Wings Giving. The plan is to just turn the
Stabs,
promoter
cuts,
into a 6.
Shoots.
We'll end up losing Lulu in combat, but I think that's okay. Sure.
Lonnie.
Anything interesting? What the fuck was that? Is the Hive Herald evolved? Why do you have... He is, but it's only a 5/5? What a shitty unit. What a shitty unit. Is this how we go? We take the big unit off of the board, and then if he wants to get rid of Lulu, he has to block with Father Fury. I think that's okay. Like, we could take the Father Fury down in combat next turn if we need to. But now we just have a giant dragon to his big nothing burger, and a bunch of cards coming off Professor Von Mech. Seems legit.
Let us party most hearty. Now,
Dude,
our
Babs, and
celebration
Dude.
can
I'm very interested in a lot of these. I guess we only need 1 discard for the blowback to kill off one of these units, but I'm very interested in this, say, Lulu into the Dead Bloom Wanderer.
This can be fun. Watch.
Now, I guess the question to ask ourselves is if we go for this and then he has an all-out, how dead are we? Right? He is plundered at this point. Getting the +1 health off of this play would probably kill us. I think I'm just going to go ahead and discard the Lulu while we're at it. You know, I do have great visions of getting an extra health off of this Dead Bloom Wanderer. Like, giving up on that little bit of value does sting. But I can't just lose to an all-out at that point. It feels like we're in an okay space as long as we just don't die on this next turn. I mean, maybe that's not completely the case since he's shuffled in so many slipstreams at this point. Like, he has a lot of opportunity to just pop off.
For a hero for my hero.
Okay. That's less awesome. He's not anticipating Riptide Rex. Maybe I read into it too much and just thinking his hand was all one-cost cards. Let's just go ahead and take the attack. I think he has to block everything here. So if we make this, he either has to block the big boy with Riptide Rex and lose him, and then I think this is okay. Just going to go ahead and spear off on the small play.
Whoa, gotta get past me.
Right now we can still block Rex. But I guess it does leave us at risk of something like Parlay.
Good as Noxus, cheap as Zonk.
Alright. Interesting. Not what I was expecting whatsoever. GG. Yeah, I have to feel like that would have gone differently if we hadn't messed up the Nilah turn. Things really got out of hand from there. Alright, though. Let's get ourselves one last battle in. One final game. See how things go. See how things do. See if we don't get 5 copies of Grandfather Rummel on the board. That's what I see with this deck. It's like you get to the point where it's like, okay, we're playing Bandle City PNZ. We've already got the Wings Giving in here. Let's just jam in Malmutation as well, right? Get these 8 drops on the board and copy them all. Okay, up against the Eddie Freljord. So what do we got? It's very tempting to hang on to Jinx in these matches because their interactivity is just dog shit, right? They do have a handful of challengers that could come in and take Jinx down, but it's just so incredibly powerful. We'll just offer up the trade. I'm curious if we want to just start pranking. Maybe we'll let him get the 2 down and then just start to prank. I don't know. It doesn't feel like we have a lot of payoff if that's what we're going to be doing. Like, as our opponent has no 2-drop. Just hit everything expensive in there. We gotta go smash and dash. It's not super likely that he's popped a unit that he can grow at this point. Oh, what's going on? It's the mulligan to 5? Wow. This is what you so rarely run into in Runeterra. Like, as I've tried to go back and start to play Magic, and I just can't bring myself to play the land system. Because it just feels so obnoxious, the amount of times that there's just a non-game. It doesn't matter what side of the board it is. It just feels like there's so frequently a non-game, be it your opponent having a draw to where they didn't get to do anything, or you having a draw to where you didn't get to do anything. And like, I've just been so happy with Runeterra in the sense that those games are so infrequent, but this is the game to where it feels like it, right? To where your opponent just doesn't play anything until beyond turn 3 of the game. But it's so challenging for that to happen, like between the spell mana system and everything. Like, it's so wild that he was unable to get stuff on board. But we'll just hook in the big boy. Our Bouncer and Bolt is going to trade with everything. Oh, we're playing for value now? Come on, dude. I guess he doesn't have a ton of opportunity for good blocks here, but you see him take his units and go, all right, watch this. We're playing for value. I'm just going to block your smallest units. Fucking please. But in terms of the Mecha Yordle picks here, I did go for this Shadow Tech Walker here. I feel like this is the spot we're going to get in, to where we get him chipped down really low, and then he just drops a bunch of... He drops a bunch of units on board, and then they don't have elusives, and so we should be able to attack around it. He's got the bird on board now that we will need to remove, but I think we're looking good otherwise. Does this get granted? So we can smash and dash from 3 to 4, and then he keeps the impact. We'll just go bigger, because like we've missed quite a bit on our we've missed quite a bit on our wings today. So the only way this goes wrong is with there's no reason to block here. We're gonna win on our next attack. I guess there's some kind of weird world to where he just gets us with a like a harsh winds, but I look at this spot and it's like, okay, well, you don't have anything on board. Like, you're going to have to like, if he gets into combat and kills off our units and then gets to continue from there, it just gives him the opportunity to like shrink the number of units that we have. And then be like lined up 1-for-1 on this attack. I think this is fine. Even like, I guess we can get harsh winded here. That would have been the downside, as to where we potentially don't get the finish on this turn. I don't know. I guess it does get us to where, you know, say we block and get into combat, he has Elixir of Iron, protects the unit, then we go into the next turn and just start playing more units. Like, he's not going to have the mana to both play units and a harsh winds, and so maybe it would have been okay to block there, but doesn't seem like it's usually the case. But nonetheless, interesting deck. Glad to pull this up, talk about it a little bit more, and we got to take some of the interesting angles with this deck. Again, it does definitely push further away from the go wide aggro style of deck that you typically see out of the Lulu Jinx of recent times, and it is much more mid-rangey, trying to take advantage of the wings giving and the like. But again, I think it's just such an incredible value, being able to put down a 1-drop, and then on turn 2, discard a Flame Chompers, and then on turn 3, upgrade that Flame Chompers into something else with the wings giving. It's just all around a very powerful collection of things that you're able to do. And I know it's very easy to get in the mindset of being like, okay, well, I want to be upgrading a 4-cost unit because 4s upgrade into 8s, and then the 8s have a bunch of really powerful Overwhelm plays, and then you can maybe upgrade that 8 to a 10 and pick up an Atacan. But there's just still a lot of fantastically strong options along the way, as to where you turn that 2 into a 3 and you just pick up a bunch of stats, and then you upgrade a Piltover Castaway and pick up a bunch of stats. Like, it's just a all-around very strong value play that I don't think the wings is given enough credit at the bottom end of the curve, as we always kind of look at it as the big combo, big splashy highlight reel kind of element. And so, very interesting take on it here. But nonetheless, good set of games. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. This is Bustin' We. Thank you for being here.